All right, what's going on, guys? It's Raul here. We're back. We're going to be doing a review video. I know I've already done one for the Skystone, but we got the new PD2s that came out. They feel good. They have actually a pretty similar. Some of these Skystones have slightly different profiles, but the Skystone I have is pretty flat actually and pretty stiff. This Discmania S-Line one probably has a little bit more dome than this one. So I've thrown it a few times, but I haven't gotten much field work done with it. So I haven't really gotten a good test for how it flies. I think it's a little bit glidier. I think in general, these runs are a little bit straighter and glidier than this one is very beef, but I'm gonna do a little review comparing these two. And yeah, I'll throw it backhand and then I'll throw this just Halo Destroyer too and compare this because this is just a classic overstable 21 Kelvin. But yeah, I got my bag out here and I'm gonna be doing some field work. So I'm gonna throw a couple drives first and just get warmed up, practicing just kind of like some hyzer flips and straighter distance shots, opposed to trying to bend them so much. That's like a old S-Line DD3. This is a Soarin' Disc Golf Destroyer if you're looking for a good straight-ish long flying destroyer. Pick one up at soarindiscgolf.com. They definitely go far. And then we got a nice little Steve Brinster destroyer. Try to throw this one flat. Oh, kind of early released it. But all right, let's see how these PD2s fly. So we'll throw the original one first. We're gonna be throwing these on just like some stock hyzer lines, like flat to hyzer lines. Yeah, so that one definitely has a bit more straight push. Now we'll throw the Skystone. This thing is beef. I do not throw this thing if I want it to go far. Definitely put that one a little higher, more hyzer. And it got some more distance. Or maybe not more distance, it's probably around the same, but it just flew longer because it was in there. This Halo Destroyer, it's not straight, it's stable for sure, but it's not as overstable as it was when I first got it. So it's a little beat in. So you can see it has that straight flight, but it's still plenty overstable. All right, so that was a decent test of them. We actually had the S-Line go the shortest. I think it's just because it was a little bit lower than the Skystone, that the Skystone went 15 feet longer, but I had it higher on hyzer and it was kind of staying in the air longer. And then the Destroyer was like 40 feet past them. They're probably around like 340 for the PD2s and maybe like 370, 360 for this. But yeah, they actually flew relatively similar. I want to see really how this thing holds up into the headwind. We have a little bit of headwind. I was hoping it would be a little bit more, but yeah, let's throw it into the headwind and see how they compare. I'm gonna throw this one and I'm gonna try to throw it flat and see how there's like really not much headwind at all. So I'm actually gonna try to turn them and see how fast they want to come out. Yeah, the wind is like dead now. So I think that's gonna be the difference between those two PD2s. Is I threw that one with some good height, a decent bit of turn, and it held for a bit to the right and then came out. Didn't want to turn too much, but definitely glided for a bit off to the right. Whereas this one I think will want to come out a lot faster, even on turn. Yeah, so that's lower on a punchier line and it still wanted to come out faster. Whereas if I threw that first one on that line, it would have held for way longer, but I threw it high, kind of slow turning, and it still turned for longer. So that just shows you it's a little bit less overstable and a little glidier. This Halo Destroyer, a little bit of headwind, will probably hold for a bit. Oh, I did not turn that at all. All right, well, scratch that. I acted like a normal Halo Destroyer. I just kind of threw it flat and high, so it didn't turn. All right, so we threw a few backhands. The S line pushed right a little bit more and then was kind of central, whereas the Skystone had a tight flex line low, skipped left. Destroyer just wasn't really a comparable throw, was left and short because I never turned it. But let's throw it on some sidearms and see how they go, because to me the PD2s feel better in the sidearm feel than the backhand. It feels bigger than a 12 speed to me. Like when I grip these compared to the Destroyer, it has a bigger hand feel, so it's kind of tough to get a good grip on it. But the sidearm, especially for this S-line one, just feels so good. So we're gonna try to throw it on some flat lines, slight hyzer to flat lines, and then coming back, we'll throw it on some like flex lines. Start with the S-line here. Yeah, that's just such a good flight. Seems so consistent. A little glidey and just pushes out, but overstable. Whereas this thing, pretty freaking beef. It just kind of wants to get down. We'll try to hit it on that same line though. Yeah, so I did turn that one just a little bit out of hand, but it is getting a little bit beat in to where they're a pretty comparable flight. This one, for some reason, is actually pretty overstable on the sidearm, but we'll try to hit it on that same angle. I think those first two are around the same area though. Yeah, so that Destroyer just has a lot more glide. The PD2s looked like they were gliding, but after seeing the Destroyer flight, they kind of just went and then got down to the ground relatively quick, whereas the Destroyer wants to pop up and continue to fly. All right, so the two PD2s are actually very close to each other. I will say I put the Skystone on just a tiny bit of turn out of the angle, so I kind of pushed left and then faded, where the PD2 or the S-line PD2, I pretty much put flat and it pushed, so maybe that's why this got close. And then the Destroyer was pretty much in line with these in terms of distance, but a little bit more right, so it glided instead of getting down. Yeah, I don't know. They feel fast in the hand, so maybe they're just faster and, you know, kind of just get through the wind and the air faster, but they go pretty far. And they feel really good in the sidearm. So I don't know, they might be too similar right now to keep both in the bag, especially with the Halo Destroyer, but we'll see. Let's throw it on some little chop sidearms, see if there's any big difference there. Hopefully I can hit the similar angle on all of these, because that's going to be kind of the hardest part. All right, so I really didn't get that on the angle I wanted to. I turned it, but it was kind of nose up. It did push for a little bit and then glide out, as opposed to just coming out right away with that nose up angle, but I'll try to see if I could get a similar result with all these. I was trying to make it turn more. That's a very similar angle and a very similar flight. Yeah, see, I think that one's just more overstable, so when it comes back, it almost wants to push harder and further and skip, where the S-line kind of glides out and lands a little bit softer. They might be a little too similar to have both in the bag right now, though. I'm just not throwing that thing good right now. All right, well, I threw that one really nose up and just way right, so didn't really have a chance to see how it compared. I know it's pretty overstable. I bet it probably would have pushed a little bit longer. Those PD2s definitely feel like they're coming out a little bit faster than that Destroyer would, but that just wasn't a good example. But yeah, I mean, they feel good. They're very similar in flight, actually. It's not very windy, so that would be kind of the big test, is testing them out in more wind and seeing if the S-Line one reacts the same in the wind as the Skystone. All right, guys, so that's it. S-Line PD2 compared with the Skystone. It's actually surprisingly, what the, got a little snail on my desk. It's actually surprisingly more similar to the Skystone than I expected. And yeah, the Calvin Destroyer didn't really get very many good throws with it, so it's hard to compare. But I would say these are definitely more overstable in the sense that they want to get down, opposed to the Calvin Destroyer kind of glides. But yeah, I mean, they're good, overstable. Am I gonna be bagging it? I don't know. I might have it in the bag right now if I have extra space, just to keep throwing it and see if I like it, see if I see any differences, and to test it out in the wind when it's windy. Of course, I played a windy sanction round right before this, but it stopped right when I came out here to film, when I actually wanted the wind. But yeah, I mean, it's good. Good hand feel, and just a stock release that's still overstable. So just a good stock overstable disc. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.